Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and welcome to part 2 of RC's request for a candy booth, specifically one with honey-covered cockroaches. So here we are, getting ready to do part 2, and I'm just trying to ask some simple questions about life, like why has Yingling not reached out to me and sponsored my videos? They know I drink their beer while I craft. They have to know. With how much I buy, they have to be wondering what I'm doing with it. Well, I'm using it to craft videos. So I'm getting some water here and some brown metallic paints. You could use anything you wanted. You can mix some copper. You can mix some gold and brown. You can mix whatever. I'm just using this because this is what I like it, and I have some. And this gives everything kind of a rusty, start off the bat kind of metallic that works for what we're doing. I'm not too worried about painting the jars because they're getting repainted. Let's hit up the back of the booth with a lot of that so we don't have to put much attention to the back. Then we're going to get this metallic, this melted chocolate, which is like a reddish brown. We're going to get our brush, water that down, mix it in with a little bit of metallic. And we're going to touch around and get some of the spots we missed with the black. And we're not killing ourselves or getting too fancy here. We're just trying to get some paint down to create an image of what this shop could or should look like. Now you'll see I didn't spray paint real well in the backs here, and that's okay. We'll get back in there with this. It's wet and it's watery. It'll do what we want. And that little bit of green showing through is okay anyways. It could just be metal, you know. Okay, we're gonna get in there. Get back in there. Back here some, so we don't have to pay an enormous amount of attention to that, like I said. And we'll get the black there. Now we're going to get a light color. This is going to be elephant gray. It's very watery as well. And we're going to mix that with the other two colors and create an ugly, hideous color that is slightly metallic, but more so ugly. Something like that. There we go. And we're just going to hit some of the spots we missed still, because there are going to be spots we still missed, because I'm sloppy and lazy. And we're going to hit around some of the edges and stuff, and do that front of that sign with it maybe. Hit that cabinet and this counter a little bit. And there's some black showing on the back yet. We don't want to put an enormous amount of effort into that though. Alright, something like that. That'll get us started real good. Now let's hit this with a hot air gun. Looks pretty dry. I'm going to get some silver. That's a lot of silver. I'm going to get a smaller brush that I have a little more control with. Just a little makeup brush. We're going to show us that this place is kind of, the metal gets scraped up and some of the silver shows through. That's all I'm doing. From use and abuse. Some of the rust gets knocked away and the grime gets knocked away and some metal gets exposed while people are touching stuff. That's all. Nothing too crazy. This adds a nice kind of touch that you don't need, but it does stand out some in your final product. And we're going to dry this off one more time, and we're going to paint our jars. I noticed my camera got whacked, probably while I was fighting a bout of thirst. I'm going to get white paint. And I'm just going to paint out of my lid using a tiny brush. And these don't need to be perfect. Put as much effort in as you want onto your candy jars. This one's got a little bit of yuckiness. I'm just going to come back and fix that a little bit. Try not to get it on your shelves. You probably will if you're like me. Okay, and that should be good enough for now. I'm gonna rinse out the brush. I'm gonna get a couple different browns and just do the lids real fast. I'm not gonna kill myself doing an enormously professional job on these lids. I'm just gonna hit around the top some and drag it around onto the edges. I'm just going to bounce around and do some of the lids. Like I said, I'm just using a couple different browns. You could do metallics or anything you really wanted. It doesn't have to be brown. Now for my honey-covered roaches, I want them all to have the same color of lid. And that'll be good for now. Oh. Let's rinse out our brush. Let's come over here and we'll use that silver and just a dab of this metallic blue, and we'll create a generic shiny kind of glass color for these. So we want to get our silver and a tiny bit of blue. And just make a generic color. And go over that white. And this will be the generic color that all candy jars are in my world. They're all this generic blue. Maybe. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I like that. That seems like a bit too much of the same color. So, for the sake of not getting repetitive, I'm going to get a little squirt of this turquoise and some metallic. I'll use that up here on this top one. And maybe one more, because I don't want it to make a million different colors. I was trying to make it quick and easy. So, let me get this marsh green here. Oops. Get a little bit of that silver, that marsh green, and mix up a nice green color for some of them. Do a couple of those in green. Okay. Let's get a pink. And everybody knows that honey-covered cockroaches come in a yellow gold. Now I am going to have to desaturate that with some silver, actually. I will not be able to use the color gold like I just thought I was going to. Gold will not give me the desaturation I want. So let's try it like this and see what we can do. And that'll work. That will definitely do what I want. It's a mudded, muted, disgusting gold color. All right. Let's take some of this and make our sign. We'll use pink. Something like that. All right, now we need something to represent all the candies in those little jars. We can leave it how it is right there and it would look completely fine. I promise you, there'd be almost no complaints at your table. But I feel like some more interesting looking containers would make it better. So I'm just adding some little polka dots and whatnot. Then we can paint over that. With some, after this is clear coated, we can put clear Mod Podge on these and make them look shiny. But what I would recommend right now is to get like an off-white and put some labels on them. And I didn't put dots on all of them. That's okay, you don't need to. Definitely made a variety there. Let's dry this off with a hair gun. Get that small brush back out. This is an off-white called Antique Parchment. I'm just going to use this to paint some labels on these. And not all of them have labels. For example, honey-coated roaches need no introduction. Everybody knows about them, right? I'm going to put the label to this one on the top. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Now I'm concerned that my candies is not sticking out prevalently, so I'm just coming under it with a little bit of white in some spots. And hopefully that'll make it a little easier to read. Are we done? Well, no, we can't be. So let me put some of this paint away real quick. Metallic goes here, yellow goes here. You don't need to know where they go. I know where they go. Don't you worry your ugly little heads. Soon we'll be done. La, la, la. All right. Getting a very small brush, putting that brush away. And with this very small brush, I am parched. Hold on. All right. That black's almost empty, but I have another one, so don't worry. Some little silly futuristic non-English writing. That kind of tells us what this stuff might be. And then, just so everybody knows, our see. And this has writing right on the lid. And that's our candy booth, dudes. Anyways, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all that happy crappy. It helps the channel grow and pleases the algorithmos, the horrible AI creatures that dictate whether or not YouTube channels fail or succeed. Check the link in the description, and down there you'll find some interesting things like a link to the website, a link to the Discord, and a discount code to save 25% off your first month of Dungeon Swag Miniatures. They're not a sponsor. I am part of Dungeon Swag. Somebody asked me if they were a sponsor. I am one half of the company. There's only two of us. We do it out of our basement and garage. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.